mean, you have to do what you have to do to get good quality sleep, because if you're not getting quality sleep, you're going to be grouchy the next day, and that you don't want that.
I need some skin to skin. Like, we've spoken about this. We know that already. But there's people that don't have communication in their marriage, relationship, dating, and that is what happened.
That little bit right there might break them. You know what I'm saying?
Because they're not connected in any other way.
Right. Like, I feel for some men, if their partner isn't sleeping with them, they're going to have a huge problem with that because they don't feel connected with their partner. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Elevate, where we strengthen our relationships so we can elevate our lives.
Episode 95.
Today we're going to be talking about...
Let's get it.
Stop it. We're going to be talking about married but sleeping in different beds.
I don't know about that, man. You got a video?
Yes, let's pull up this video.
My wife and I haven't slept in the same bed for 5 years. She let me know she was ready to sleep back in our bed. When we started having kids, we chose a temporary solution for a short-term problem. We didn't know if this would have an effect on our marriage, but we had to adapt to the season we were in and trust we had a strong foundation. In the last 5 years, we adapted to a new normal. Now we have to find out new normal in a new season. This is normal. The key is to communicate, understand the reason to the solution, honor the season because it will pass.
So from what he says in the caption is that it was when their second child was born is when they decided to do that. Mm-hmm. That makes me feel a little better because initially I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. But from what I think, I'm assuming is that they did that in order, let's say if she was handling the kid, like, he could sleep, and if he was handling the kid, then the other person could sleep. That makes sense. Still a little extreme for me. I don't know if I would be able to do that, but maybe there's...
You wouldn't be able to sleep without me, baby?
Nah.
That would be weird for me.
Yeah.
But it's understandable, and I can understand why some people would choose that, because let's say the husband is the sole provider and he works and she's a stay-at-home mom and she's caring for the kids. It's difficult to have especially a newborn baby, even a 1-year-old sleeping in your bed. You know, they can disrupt your sleep quite often in the middle of the night. And obviously, if you don't get quality sleep, you're going to be exhausted the next day and you're not going to be as productive at work. So it is fair to let the person who needs to go to work actually get their sleep. Because let's say you as a stay-at-home mom have the luxury that, you know, and during the day, if the kid is sleeping, you can take a nap with them, you know, because you're not going to work. So, you know what? In that situation, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean, like he said, like when we speak about this in a lot of our podcasts, when it comes to communication, it's like they sat down and had this conversation about, can we do this? And like, and be totally aware that this is just like a phase. Like, it's not like, hey, we're going to do this forever. It's just like our baby's born and can we do this? Again, I don't know if I can do that. Maybe we can. And
we definitely can. I think
you sound like you ready to kick me out the room.
No, but I think we definitely can, because just like he was pointing out, he felt, or they both felt like they had a very strong foundation. And so that wasn't going to make them fall out of love with each other because they were sleeping, you know.
My ass fall asleep so quick, I probably will lay down in the bed.
Yeah, I think now we're used to it and there's no reason why we would be sleeping in separate beds. But if it came down to it, I think we totally could do it because we definitely have a very strong foundation. And I don't think something like that would pull us apart. You know, we have communication in all areas of our life, not just in the bedroom.
I was watching the podcast of Stephen Bartlett, the Diary of a CEO, and they actually spoke about that. I don't know if it was when he was talking to Mel Robbins, whatever, it doesn't matter. That's kind of like, is it a stigma that you have to sleep with your partner? Is that what they call it, like a stigma?
Well, it's like the traditional thing to do.
So him and his girlfriend apparently do that sometimes. Like, they don't sleep in the same room, and he's like, our relationship is perfectly fine. Like, it's better than ever. And he explained, is like, sometimes I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and she doesn't. Like, why should I impact her sleep if I have to be up early and vice versa. And I'm like, okay, it makes
sense.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah, because it's like if somebody has to wake up super early in the morning and you don't got to wake up, it's like, you know, it's like an inconvenience to the other person. Like, let them. So in that case,
there's some people who just like to sleep alone.
Well,
and there's people who are that extreme that it's not going to be a season or a day or two. I've heard people say, I don't know if they are still married, but I've heard people say that they've been married and they sleep in separate rooms.
How do they get intimate?
I guess, I mean, you don't have to get intimate
at night.
At nighttime.
Oh, we know.
But, you know, for me personally, and I think most women can relate to me, I think. I don't know. I like to be close to you. I like to know that you're next to me. And it sounds like you do too.
Yeah. No, I like to turn over sometimes and, you know, put my hand on your butt.
I wouldn't want to be in a room by myself. If I had to, I would do it, but I don't prefer it. Not being married, I wouldn't prefer it. Now, there's people who like to sleep in separate rooms because their partner snores.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Sometimes apparently I snore now. It's probably because I'm fat.
OMG.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. It stresses me out.
First of all, you're not fat.
Definitely fat.
You're thicker than you were maybe like a couple months ago. But
that's her way of calling me fat.
You're not.
I
can't.
There's supposedly this tape that you put in your mouth that like is called night tape, because the reason why people snore at night is because they breathe through their mouth.
You about to tape your mouth?
For real, it looks weird as hell, and the branding is amazing. Like, I've actually seen a lot of people. It is actually called Hostage. I don't know. I just got the ads, but the brand is called Hostage.
Get out.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like a black tape you put, and it doesn't, if you have beard and all that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't pull your hairs. So they have a nose strip and they also have a mouth thing. And apparently, usually it's kind of like the deviated septum, whatever. So if you tape your mouth, you are forced to breathe through your nose and you don't snore.
You wouldn't suffocate?
No, because you're breathing through your nose.
But
it forces you. That's how people should be breathing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's called Hostage.
What? Yeah. I didn't know that. But, you know, going back to the topic, yeah, I feel that if your partner is disrupting your sleep, it might not be such a bad idea. Right?
She's trying to kick me out the room, guys.
No, it hasn't been that bad. There was only one night I could remember that was like, and it was because I couldn't go to sleep, so I could hear you. But you're not, if you do it occasionally throughout the night, it's not so loud where you're waking me up. So
yeah,
it doesn't bother me.
It's like a slight snore.
It's not bothering me, but I can see if someone is a really loud snorer. Is that a word, snorer?
It's a word now.
If someone snores really loudly, I can see why their partner would want to sleep in another room because.
No, and I know too with like health conditions, because there's people that like use a CPAP or BiPAP at night, and the machines are usually loud, and they needed to sleep in order to sleep better. And usually, you know, machines running all night, or like if you're on oxygen, it's kind of disrupts other person. So it's like usually in those cases, they're separate rooms.
Because some people don't have that type of space to be sleeping in a
There was a lady where I used to work that her and her husband were like that. Like, he was on machines and they would not sleep together. And I always found it weird, but I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, you have to do what you have to do to get good quality sleep, because if you're not getting quality sleep, you're going to be grouchy the next day, and that you don't want that either.
And it's also kind of like going back to that podcast that I was telling you I was listening to. It's like your relationship. It's your house. It doesn't matter what other people think. Like, hey, we think you should sleep in the same bed.
Absolutely.
Well, it's my relationship, and if this works for us, then that's all that matters.
If there is no other reason why, if there's no medical reason, if there's no kids involved, and you just want to sleep in your own bed, I do have a little bit of a like.
But it still doesn't matter, because it still
doesn't matter. It's just my opinion.
Exactly.
Because in my opinion, I feel like sleeping with your partner, you know, in the routine of things, right? Sometimes you can drift a little bit apart, and you having to go to bed together in the same bed under the same sheets can initiate a lot of things, right? And so it could bring you closer. Not that you need that to be close, because like I said, our relationship, like, we have really good communication in all areas of our life, not just in the bedroom. And so I feel like we're close in everything else that not sleeping together wouldn't break us.
Yeah. Well, some people just have a sexual relationship.
But I feel like for some people, that little bit right there might break them. You know what I'm saying?
Because they're not connected in any other way.
Right. Like, I feel for some men, if their partner isn't sleeping with them, they're going to have a huge problem with that, because they don't feel connected with their partner throughout the day, which is a terrible thing. I feel like that should be fixed. But I guess it depends where each relationship is and where they stand.
Yeah, I just need to lay down. In most cases, I go to sleep before you anyways. But when you usually
go
come
to bed first.
Yeah, and then I fall asleep.
Most of the time, you're not sleeping until I get in bed.
True. And then you get in bed, and I'm like, just got to touch the booty, touch the boobies, and go to bed. And just I turn around and go to bed. It's just like tradition.
Can't.
And then I got to put my leg out so I can, like, feel you. I need some skin to skin.
Yeah.
Don't be hugging me, though, because I get hot.
I like that, too. I'll be, like, doing the leg thing.
And then we good for the night.
But it's great. I love sleeping with my husband. I don't see myself sleeping in a different room, in a different bed. No. For me, I like being next to my husband. And yeah, that's just my choice. But for any other people who decide to sleep in separate beds, hey, do you okay? Like, you have open communication with your partner, and as long as both of you are on the same page, that's all that really matters. And as long as you guys are cultivating, you know, intimacy and, you know, closeness with your partner in other ways, and there's nothing that.
And if you guys are both on board, and it's not like get the out of my room, then you should be good, because everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, and I feel like in that instance, both people need to be on the same page for sure.
Yeah,
because if it's only one person,
it's like, yo, get out of my room. Like, what the fuck you mean, get out of my room?
If it's one person, it's definitely that's the beginning to the end. Sorry to break it to y'all, but yeah. So I just want to point out that the video we just saw was by Said. This is like a family. Well, their bio says, I'm a husband pursuing my wife through thoughtful, caring, and creative leadership. So it's like a family-based Instagram and a CED. Thank you for sharing that with us. And so the next video I want to share is it's a little clip from Jay Shetty.
On the Diary of a CEO.
Sleeping in the same bed as someone does not make you close to someone. Living in the same house as someone does not make you close to someone. The only thing that makes you feel close to someone is when you feel you can be open and when you feel seen, heard, and understood in your most vulnerable, darkest, and open times. If you can do that, everything else is going to work. But if you can't do that, you can't just make it happen in a moment because you're meant to be together.
So he basically just reiterated what we were saying. Yeah. Right?
That is not just about sleeping in the same bed.
Right.
And being intimate.
Right. So a lot of people, I feel like a lot of relationships operate like that.
On just intimacy?
We just get together at nighttime. And I'm going to say this is probably why a lot of women, after a while, they get bored in their intimate life, right? Because they don't feel connected to their partner. And like men and women, we're different.
Tell them how we different.
Right?
Wow. We are.
What a discovery, right? But we're very different, especially when it comes to intimacy, because women, we need to be connected and we need to feel intimate in other ways other than physically.
Well, you're saying you.
Most of us. I've heard this from many women. And And research shows that. And I've heard therapists also talk about this, that as women, you can't treat us like an object. You can't treat us all day, you know, not even say hello, good morning, hi baby, how you doing? Did you eat? Do something nice for us. Be connected with us throughout the day, and then the nighttime comes and you expect us to be all lovey-dovey and, you know, just ready for you, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't work that way. And this is why a lot of men have problems when it comes to being intimate with their women, because they're not connecting throughout the day with their partner. They're just like, okay, it's bedtime. Come here. Like, they're ready to, like, get it on. And the woman is like, I feel so disconnected. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm blocking you. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not in that mood right now. Like, that mood for women needs to be
throughout the course of the day.
It needs to be built. And so I feel like a lot of relationships, they miss that, and that's why it gets boring, and it gets, you know, and that intimacy part becomes a chore for the woman, because if we don't feel like in the mood, it's trash. Like, there's nothing you can do. There literally is nothing you can do to get a woman who's not in the present, in that moment, wanting it, to get her in the mood if she is not there mentally. Like, you can, trust me, you can do everything. But if she's not there mentally, ready for that, she's not going to receive anything you do as exciting.
And it's funny that you say that, because we've actually had these conversations off the podcast. Like as we always say, again, in every podcast, is like, we do a lot of communication. Mm-hmm. And like, we've spoken about this. So we know that already. Mm-hmm. But there's people that don't have communication in their marriage, relationship, dating. And that is what happens. That it's just like, it's the guy will show up, or, I mean, obviously if the girl was to do that, it's probably easier for the guy to just get turned on. Like
100%. The guy does not need to be turned on all day, or like, you could just at nighttime resuelve and it's done. Like, but that's why we're different, and men need to understand how we operate, and we need to understand how men operate, right? Like, it's a lot easier for you guys to get in the mood, but it's not as simple for a woman.
Just wink at me, baby.
It's not as simple for a woman. If we are like, had a super overwhelming day, sometimes if we get in the mindset that, tonight, I'm just going to release my tension, we could do that ourselves. But if we're not in that mindset, baby, we're going to have a hard time.
That's fucked up, because it's like, you could just come and do, not literally come, but you can literally just enter the room and be like, yo, showtime. And we're like, let's get it. And me, I gotta be working throughout the day.
It is what it is. But,
I signed up for it.
Men, like, but also what men don't understand is, like, it's the little things, right? You bring your woman Starbucks, randomly. You randomly showing up with flowers. Or guess what? You helping her clean the kitchen. Helping her clean up right before you go to bed, if you see that she's still up trying to, like, pick up because she's annoyed by the mess. Like, it's the little things that will make your woman drool over you. But you guys, some of you don't get it. Some of you just refuse to get it.
You release that stress
exactly.
that she's facing at the moment. And it's kind of like she can focus on now
exactly
her self-care and makeup.
You know it. Routine. You know that's what it is. If we're stressed out, boy.
When in doubt, clean the house.
If we're stressed out and if we're mad that you're not, and you haven't helped, you haven't lifted a finger, and that house is a mess, and we're stressed out because of that, oh boy, don't talk to me about that. Like, don't talk to me about that. Like, as women, we have so many, let's say as men, you guys have a lot of things in your head, let's say when it comes to most of you, financially, taking care of your family, or being a provider man. As women, we have a lot of things in our head when it comes to our families, when it comes to our kids, when it comes to our households, when it comes to keeping a tidy home, the cleaning, the laundry, which could be done as a teamwork, but depending on how your household runs, a lot of the times women are the ones who have these things in the back of their head. And even if sometimes you see your woman isn't doing anything, sometimes we are paralyzed by the overwhelm. Just because we're sitting down doesn't mean that internally we're not stressing out about everything that needs to get done. You know, and
because there's like so much to do.
Yeah, a lot of men might look from the outside looking in and say like, what are you stressing out about? You're not even doing anything. You're sitting down. But meanwhile, in her head, she's like,
where do I start?
I went to work this morning. I helped the kids with their homework. I cooked dinner, but I still have a pile of laundry over there. I need to clean the bathrooms. I need to organize the kids' closet because it's a mess. And just those little things are not going to let her focus on you at night, boo-boo. Like, she's not going to be in the best mood to give you her best self.
Yeah.
But if you at least acknowledge those things throughout the day, and maybe you don't have to do everything that needs to get done by yourself, because you don't, or maybe you can. Sometimes she does it by herself. Like, why can't you? But just acknowledging that it's okay. What's stressing you out? What can I help you with? Will set you up for success, guys.
What's the chances that some men are listening to this right now?
I don't know, but whoever's listening,
share with your man.
I hope you I hope you learned something.
Fellas, it works.
I mean, we're coming, you know, we may not be perfect. We're not perfect. And we don't have the perfect relationship, even though in my eyes it's perfect for me. There's a lot of things that from some people or some women looking in might be like, I will never deal with that. Like, I will never be with a person who does X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. But for me, he's perfect. And am I perfect for you?
Yeah, baby.
I think we're perfect for each other. And in our imperfections, we're perfect for each other. And so
we also got here, like, we've molded ourselves.
Yeah, we've learned along it's been a journey. But, you know, the things that we say it out of experience. This is what we've experienced, and this is what has worked for us. And I would like to say that we have a pretty successful marriage. And so it works. Just listen to each other. Have compassion, empathy.
At what stage is marriage successful? Isn't there like they'd be like 5, isn't it like 5 years? They'd be like, oh, you probably divorced in like 5 years.
I've heard before, if you pass 10,
you good?
Even though that's a lie, because you could go downhill at any point. But if you've been together with the person, in my opinion, for more than 10 years, and you've been successful in those 10 years, because you could have had 10 years of hell, then I feel like that's a strong foundation. I mean, 10 years is a long time with a person. If you've been able to work through the kinks, work through the hurdles.
So like the early hurdles of...
For 10 years.
Of figuring each other out.
Right.
Yeah, like if at 10 years, let's say after 7 years, you're still like figuring out little shit, it's kind of like, bro, we're going to get this together or what? No?
What do you mean? Figuring out what?
Like little stuff.
I mean, you always, I mean, people...
No, but like little stuff that should have been done in the beginning.
Oh, like trying to get it together after 7 years. Yeah. If you're not improving as a person after 7 years, I mean, yikes. You're not going to.
10 years is a long time.
Yes, but
our son is 10.
I feel like if in 10 years you've had a strong bond, and maybe you had your ups and downs, but you were able to work through them and learn from them, not continue to repeat them, I feel like that is a pretty strong foundation to continue having a successful marriage.
So big foundation. 10 years?
Yeah. But yeah, back to the topic, you definitely don't have to sleep in the same bed to have a strong connection, But I would strongly encourage that if you have no reasons to not sleep with your partner, to please sleep with your partner. Don't sleep in separate beds. That's not cute.
But do what works best for you guys.
Yes, but it works. Like, you don't have to sleep in the same bed to have a successful marriage. You could definitely have a successful relationship and sleep in separate beds as long as you have communication and you guys are coming together in other ways. For sure.
But that's a wrap. Episode 95.
Ooh, 5 more.
5 more. Let us know what we should do if you're still here for our 100th episode.
We should do something for our 100th episode. It should be special.
Yeah, we need to figure this out now, not on the day that we're going to record the 100th episode.
I know.
Let us know. Give some suggestions.
Yes. We definitely have to.
If you're still here, most people probably
We have to
clicked
do
out.
something special for the 100th episode. We're going to put our brains to work. That's it for today's podcast, you guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. Until next time.
Peace.